to become an elite thinker. Elite thinkers are clear. This is probably the biggest thing you have to understand. Elite thinkers are clear. They take the time to get clear. Get clear on what, if you will? You might say. To get clear on the end result that they are desiring. If you look at all of your scientists, your inventors, they have an idea somewhat of what they are trying to create, that they have been inspired to create. They don't know what it looks like. They don't know how it's going to work, but they have an idea. I want to do something like this. I want to create something that solves this problem. And they're clear on that single question or that single idea, and then they allow it to form. So many make the mistake of not allowing the idea to form, allowing the idea to come together. You can have an intention or an idea of just having a great day. You can have an intention or an idea of having fun. You can have an intention or an idea of a successful business. But you must allow it to take form. And to know that it will take form, and to know that the pieces and parts will come together. You have to continue to allow the knowledge that you are acquiring to compound. You are the initiator of the movement of the energies. You are the initiator of the particles presenting themselves out of those energies. You are the initiator of the particles coming together as form. You are the initiator of the forms coming together, aligning with you in the energies that you are expressing to create the experience. Knowing that, when you step back into an idea, an intention, a desire, you have to know that as you get clearer on your idea, the more piercing the energies are. The more piercing the energies are, the greater the fuel for the movement and the creation of the forms that ultimately support you in yielding the experience. You have to understand that it is a process, and you have to take responsibility for that which you can control. Your intention, the clarity of that intention that comes with time from your perspective. And the more clear you get on an idea, the more force you can apply, energy-wise, fuel-wise, excitement-wise, joy-wise, to that intention, and then allow the outer experience to begin to mesh and mold into that experience. Now, you will be inspired to act in certain ways. You will be inspired to do certain things. Do that. If you know you have an intention and you're inspired to do something that doesn't make sense, but you know what it feels like to be inspired, and you know how the outcomes or results have turned out in your highest and best favor in times before where you have followed your inspiration, and knowing what it feels like, do that. And know and expect that things are working out for you. Know and expect that you are in alignment with your desire. But to be an elite thinker starts with your intention, starts with an idea, no matter how general it is, and knowing that it will begin to clarify itself. And as your idea begins to clarify, the creation that is occurring outside of you will begin to clarify as well. Elite thinkers are clear. Elite thinkers focus on that which they desire to the exclusion of everything else. Many have done so because there was no other option. Many have done so because they were focused on what they were trying to figure out, trying to create, and there wasn't even a thought of it's not going to happen. There was no thought of it can't be done. There was no thought of this is not possible. They were singularly focused on the solution. They were singularly focused on what if. And the idea behind this for each of you that's necessary for each of you to understand is that there was no thought of or that created resistance. There was no conflict to the intention. There was no, again, it can't be done. It's not possible. I don't have what it takes. There was only the potential of the solution, the potential of the answer, the potential of the creation. I have this problem. How can I fix it? How can I solve it? And they stayed in that space that was screaming that it can be done, that it is possible, even though I don't know the answer. And what does that mean for you? That means when you have an intention, when you have a desire, you want to sit in that intention, knowing that it's possible, knowing that it can be done. And it doesn't matter whether you know what direction to take at the moment. It doesn't matter if you know whether you need to turn left or turn right. It doesn't matter. The knowing that it is possible, the knowing that it can be done, that is implied and assumed by you, allows the resources to begin to flow, allows the possibilities and potentialities to begin to make their way to you. And you will see evidence of this happening. And as you begin to see evidence of this, the knowledge and the understanding and the potential's own approach, you celebrate it. You celebrate it. Now, you can play with these ideas. Before you apply them to something big in your life, you can play with these ideas with things that are not serious, that don't matter as much, because anything you sow into your inner creative process begins to be activated and worked with and worked on as material. So it doesn't matter if you care nothing about sowing, but you start fathoming the idea of sowing. The idea of being a cleaner of houses, of offices. The idea of cooking a fantastic meal. I want to cook an amazing meal next week on Tuesday. That's the single intention. And if from now to Tuesday you hold that intention with the beauty of the experience, with the magnificence of the experience, knowing that everybody enjoyed the meal, it will begin to flush itself out. It will begin to reveal itself to you. Play with it in this regard, with something, a brand new idea that has no merit, has no weight on your life at all. But it's a new idea. It's a novel idea, something you've never thought about, something you've never considered. And from now to next week, hold that idea and watch how the materials begin to form and make their way to you. Watch how you begin to get clear. How clarity begins to reveal itself as time, as the documented time approaches, the documented end time approaches on the meal that you intend to create on next Tuesday. And as you see the process begin to play out, then you can go back and evaluate what you did, what you didn't do, how you intended, how you were open to the receiving, how you were not offering resistance, how you were not in conflict on the inside with the result. Why? Because it's something that it doesn't really matter. Right? It's an intention that has no emotional bearing, has no weight. It doesn't really matter. But because this is so, you do everything right from a creative standpoint. And you notice how you're doing everything right most often in the direction that you do not desire, because when you're focused on that which you do not desire, as you have been conditioned, you're doing everything perfectly right and you're not offering any resistance to it. You're not saying, oh, I really hate this and I really don't want this experience. But you know what? If it didn't happen and I had this beautiful experience, that would be great. No, you're not doing that. You're not offering any resistance to that which you hate. You're not offering any resistance to that which frustrates you because you believe in it so wholeheartedly. And it baffles us, but we understand this conditioning that you can't do the same thing. You can't be the same way in the direction of that which you do desire. In your desire for abundance, in your desire for well-being, you say you want it, but you resist it because you believe more in its absence. You believe more in sickness. You believe more in lack and scarcity. But there are those on your planet who do not. There are those on your planet who believe in these ideas wholeheartedly, and it is their experience. But the majority of humanity believes in that which they do not desire, and they fight, and they build boundaries, and they argue, and they walk around, and they're frustrated, and they're anxious, and they're stressed because they're believing so much in that which they do not desire. And they offer no resistance to it by even fathoming. They can never even say out of their mouth, but you know what? I really enjoy my job, and it's going to be beautiful. They don't offer that resistance to the hate and the frustration. They don't offer well-being resistance to their belief in sickness and dis-ease. They don't offer abundance resistance to their core belief in lack and scarcity. But what we suggest is that you take an idea that doesn't really matter, the idea of cooking a beautiful meal in a week's time, in 7 days' time, and watch how from no clarity at all, you begin to get clear on the meal, on the ingredients, on the entree, on the accompanying components, on all of the things from the initial idea of wanting to create an amazing meal on next Tuesday. And watch how the idea begins to get clear. Watch how you feel about the creating, the expressing, and the enjoying of the experience. Watch how the information, how to do it, the spices, everything that's required, how it begins to make its way to you, and watch how you don't offer any resistance to it. It's a beautiful process. It's an excellent process. It's a consistent process that you're constantly engaged in, and it is you who resist your desires. It is you who are not aware that you are firmly believing and having been conditioned to believe in that which you do not desire, and you give it more strength than you give it to that which you actually do desire. But you must understand the process. You must stand and know the process. See yourself in operation of the process with things that don't really matter. And then, when you're firmly rooted in knowing of the process and your responsibility in the process, then turn and begin to apply it to those things that are, from your perspective, big in your life. And do the exact same things. Be the exact same way. And watch how experience molds itself, oftentimes very quickly, when you're not offering any resistance, when you're not in conflict with that which you desire, because your truth is that which you desire. This is what we desire for you to know. This is what you must understand. We are thankful, grateful for the opportunity to share. We're thankful for the vessel. We're thankful for each of you offering fertile ground for these transmissions, and we're here for you from our now non-physical perspective, offering that which we know to be true, offering that which we know will transform your life. We honor you. We celebrate you. And we love you. We love you. We love you. And if you desire to accelerate this process, we look for you in the Ascension Accelerator.